So hello everyone, Ken here, back with another video. Today I have a very special guest. He's one of my friends, Jaemin. He recently graduated from an undergraduate program in data science, and I thought it'd be really cool for him to come on and talk about his experience with that and his experience with finding a job after one of those programs. So Jaemin also has a YouTube channel called Import Data. I recommend going to check that out. He has a lot of experience related videos and also some projects there. So Jaemin, did I miss anything with your background? I'm happy to kind of turn the floor over to you to expand on yourself a little bit.
No, I don't think you missed anything. I guess I graduated, but I don't really feel like I graduated because there was no ceremony because of the pandemic situation.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Yeah, other than that, thanks Ken for giving me an opportunity to speak to your viewers.
Yeah, no problem. I think you have a really unique perspective, and I'm happy to be able to share that with some other people. So, the first thing that I'd like to ask, I know you came actually from a CS major and you changed your major into data science. So what was kind of your thought process there?
Right.
And in the longer term, did you find that was a good decision? Would it not really have made a difference? What was your feeling about that?
Right. So up until the first semester of my third year in college, I was actually a CS major, like you said. But during that semester, I got into stock trading, and I studied how to read charts and those indicators and some of the variables that affect stock prices. And I came across the field of predictive analytics, where you can use the history of data to predict stock prices. And then I found out about the data science field, where you can turn raw data into something meaningful. So I researched more about the field, and I found out that it's an interdisciplinary field of CS, stats, and business. And I was trying to, I was trying to minor in stats at the time, but then my school actually announced that they're going to have an undergraduate data science program the following semester, which was perfect timing for me. So then I decided to switch my major from CS to data science. And I probably would have minored in stats if they didn't have data science program, but that would have probably delayed my graduation by a semester or two. So everything worked out perfectly fine for me.
Awesome. It seems like that type of degree really spoke to your specific interests. And I think that that's really important. Like for me, when you're in school, you should be studying things that are relevant for your career, but also that are most interesting to you. For example, I think that I would probably argue that a DS undergrad or a CS undergrad would probably have very similar opportunities. But at the same time, you were probably able to get better opportunities through your DS undergrad because you were more engaged in the coursework. You probably tried quite a bit harder in that degree path. So, for anyone watching, I think it's just as much about the effort you put in. And that's tied to if you're interested in what you're studying genuinely. So, with that being said about the coursework, what type of classes were involved in that? What did that structure actually look like? And do you know if that's pretty uniform across the board, or is that fairly different at different universities?
Right. So I researched about Bachelor of Data Science program in the US, and I found out that there's about 60 colleges that have
that's a lot.
Data science programs. Yeah. Obviously, I'm assuming they'd be different depending on the school, but like I mentioned, from my experience, it was a combination of CS, stats, and math. And all the CS and math or stats classes were very helpful to me because they were project-based. So I feel like I learned a lot from those classes. I feel like I gained practical skills. But for the math courses, I had to take a couple of proof-based classes that math majors take, but I didn't really find them useful at all. So instead of those classes, I wish they had a course where you learn about how you can incorporate or apply data science into a business. Let's say a course where you can learn how to apply data science into the music industry or sports or automobile, etc. So that would have been amazing probably for me. However, it doesn't really, you don't really have a control over the courses you can take from the university.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So, more specifically, like what courses for math did you take? What programming courses did you take? Like, for example, in my CS degree, I took like algorithms, two courses on those, data structures, discrete math. I had to take like a software engineering, like a design principles course. And then I took a bunch of electives on like Monte Carlo simulation and those types of things. And then like a couple deep learning courses. What kind of, just to give some context, what type of courses, you don't have to go through all of them, but what were like the relevant programming ones and the relevant math ones?
So from the CS side, I took basic programming classes in C++ and Java. They were object-oriented programming classes. And I also took data structures and algorithms, discrete math, and machine learning, deep learning, and big data. And from the stats side, they were more focused on probability and statistics, where you learn about different distributions and all different statistical tests. And from the math side, I remember taking all those calculus classes, linear algebra, and some of the upper level proof-based classes that, like I said, they didn't find really useful.
Well, I think that's like a fairly robust, course load. I like that they had you taking like very legitimate computer science courses, not like a data science version of the computer science course. I think that that's something that you see in quite a few programs, and I don't know if I'd really recommend that. I think as a data scientist, you have to do like legitimate software engineering sometimes.
Exactly.
And it's good that they actually included you with, the computer science majors, whatever that might be. For people watching again, like I think that that's a good quality of one of these, undergraduate data science programs. If they do lump you in with CS students sometimes and with math majors sometimes, that's a positive thing in my book. So, when looking for jobs after, after going through this degree, graduating as one of the first people, I think you were in the first cohort, you said, with a DS undergrad degree. How did employers respond to that? Were they surprised? Did they know even what to think? What was kind of that conversation like?
Right. So in terms of the degree, they didn't really. I remember them specifically talking about the degree, but I guess all the companies that I interviewed were impressed with the courses I took. I guess that's why they would want to interview me, right? But during the interview with the company I got the position from, they specifically mentioned that they're moving towards applying AI and machine learning to make better decisions in their business. And one of the employers that I interviewed with actually told me that he was impressed with the AI-related classes that I took. So not so much about the degree, but the coursework, they were impressed with it.
That's actually really, really valuable information in my opinion. I mean, if you're, let's say your school doesn't have a DS undergrad degree, right? But you have electives as an undergrad. If you take courses that are, relevant to the positions you're applying to, definitely include them on your resume, and that can help so much in your actual process there.
Absolutely. Right.
So that's something I haven't even really touched on in my resume series or any of those things. That's something I'm definitely going to start, pushing a bit more going forward, is making sure you have that understanding. So, we've kind of gone from what the school is like to actually the job process now. I'd love to hear about, how you landed your role, and what really helped you the most when you were going through this process to get a job.
Right. So let's see. Like I said, I'm an international student, so I wanted to be an early applicant. So when I was job hunting, I downloaded all those job post applications like Indeed, Glassdoor, and LinkedIn. And I set notifications to notify me whenever there was a new job posted. I would quickly check and go through their job descriptions and their requirements. And if they sounded like I would be a good fit for them, I would, save them and apply later. What helped me in getting a position? I highly recommend getting, asking for referrals. I think referral is the best way to get your get your resume to the top of the list. I applied to around 200 jobs and got about 5 callbacks. And out of those, I only got 3 interviews. And I ended up getting a job where I applied through the referral. So definitely applying to many jobs doesn't really help. I thought it would higher the chance of me getting a job, but it didn't work at all.
How many jobs did you apply for with referrals?
Just one, and I ended up getting that position.
Well, so I mean, there's an interesting conversion right there. I mean, obviously, very small sample on the ones you were referred with, but you're batting 100% with your referrals, and just to get the interview, you're only looking at 1.5% if you send out 200 applications, or even 1% if you include the referral there. So, for perspective, I mean, that is night and day, right? Wow.
Oh yeah. Other than referrals, I'm sure you're tired of hearing this, but your YouTube channel helped me a lot.
Well, thank you.
Learning from you about how to prepare for interviews and what I should put, the types of projects I should put on my resume definitely guided me in the right direction, I feel like. And other than that, I think the courses I took from my college actually helped me navigate through technical process of interviews.
Very cool. And so I'd love to hear more about, obviously I am like probably the biggest proponent of data science projects on YouTube. I'd love to hear about your projects that, helped you land those roles, but also about, what your projects you're, continuing to do, because I think, again, that's the best way to continue your learning here.
Exactly. So on my resume, I showcased regression, classification, clustering, and a deep learning project. Half of them were in Python, and the other half were in R, because some of the stats courses I took were focused on R rather than Python. So I think that helped me in getting a job as well. Also, I did the projects in SQL where I could showcase my understanding of infrastructure as well.
Awesome. Well, that's something that I haven't actually necessarily recommended yet in the form of a project, but being able to either scrape data or get data, actually put it into a database, and then make your data science project from querying from that database is probably like one of the most valuable projects. I don't think on this channel I talk enough about how important SQL is. And, SQL, some data scientists, I would say most data scientists use it as much as Python, if not more. So I think that's like a huge, I wouldn't say necessarily oversight on my part, but that's something I need to talk about quite a bit more.
Right. And I guess on my channel, I'm diving deeper into machine learning tutorials. I'm trying to do classification, all the algorithms and classifications, regressions, and clustering. And I'm planning on to do deep learning projects as well. Awesome.
Well, I'd love to hear more about your YouTube channel, like the kind of vision that you have there. And I obviously enjoyed making a YouTube channel. I'd almost recommend it to anyone that has like the stomach for it. Do you think that that's like a good path to take, or are there other different ways that you can communicate these things?
Right. So first, I created my channel to share my story on how I was able to land a job or an entry-level data science position without any advanced degrees. Other than that, I also talk about tutorials, and I also share my experience as an international student, and I'm planning to give some tips for incoming and current international students here in the US as well.
Awesome.
So in terms of making a YouTube channel, if time allows, I think I highly recommend making it, because to make a video, you have to gather information on the specific topic you want to talk about, and that process definitely helps you learn, I feel like. Yesterday I actually watched a panel discussion between you, KNN, and Code Basics, and I think Shannon mentioned that the best way to learn is to teach, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so making YouTube is, I feel like it's just like teaching. You're conveying your information and knowledge to your audience, and to do that, you have to make that information completely yours. And like, for instance, I made a video on how to deploy a model in Flask and how to turn that into a web application. And I've never done that before, but I had to went back and learn about the technology, and to the level where I feel comfortable to talk about in my video. So, that process is definitely helpful in gaining practical skills. And obviously, I'm very introverted, and I still have a hard time, recording myself in front of the camera. But if you feel like that, alternatively, you can probably write a blog post on Medium and share them on LinkedIn to make it public. So yeah, there's also those options as well.
Awesome. And the panel you mentioned, I'll link it above and below. I'll also link to Jaemin's channel here. I think that there's a lot of really useful resources related to any of these topics, on your channel. So, I agree. I think that any different ways that you can share content or that you can share your work is really beneficial. There's different benefits of sharing YouTube videos or blog posts than just sharing your GitHub portfolio. So when you share a blog, you show that you actually have writing ability, that you can tell a story, that you can do some of these soft skills. And or same thing with a video, you can share that you can communicate clearly, whatever that might be. And those are things that are really, really hard to pick up from a resume. I say this all the time, but you don't want to tell people that you're a good communicator. You don't want to tell people that you're motivated or hardworking.
Right.
That just doesn't necessarily come off very well.
Doesn't show anything, right?
Exactly. But if they see that you've written a Medium post, or they see that you've made a video on YouTube and you're clearly articulating a couple different topics, that's one more reason to actually to consider putting you through the next round or anything. They just have a little bit more insight into who you are than any other candidate, right? If someone Googles my name, my videos come up, and I very few other candidates for any position
stand out.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what this process is making these recruiters, making these managers, making you stick out in their mind compared to other people. I'd love for recruiting to be completely fair based on what your capabilities are as a data scientist, but frankly, the world doesn't necessarily work like that, and you really have to do whatever you can to really put your best foot forward and to latch on in someone's memory in that way. So again, I don't think everyone has to go out and make a YouTube channel, but you guys should be creative about how you convey that information. So those are really all the questions, the main things that I wanted to focus on with you. Do you have any kind of any last words, anything else you'd like to share?
No, thanks for having me, and make sure to like and subscribe to Ken's channel. A lot of people just watch them, but not really, smash the like button, but it doesn't really cost anything. So you make sure to like this video. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via YouTube, LinkedIn, or Twitter. I'm happy to answer some of the questions you may have.
Awesome stuff, and definitely check out Import Data, Jaemin's YouTube channel as well. He's been growing really fast. His channel is actually growing a lot faster than mine did when I started. So.
For real?
Yeah. Way faster, man. So thanks again for coming on. I think this will be so useful to a lot of people.